super big. Then when you zone him off tower, you line up the Caitlyn traps and you can siege with that. That was actually a genius combo overall.
All right, Crepo, we are into picks and bans. What are we expecting here for the first pit?
I mean, Nidalee is out of the equation. That means Kindred goes up even higher in value. We haven't seen Kindred win every game, but she just has such strong dueling potential. If you look at the things that Trick was doing on that Kindred, he could have easily solo carried the game. With Maokai out, Azir out, it's looking like almost a guaranteed first pick Kindred, especially with the Rise ban here for the LMS.
We saw Trick doing some dirty things on that Kindred. Multiple Baron steals, able to get yourself in some very sticky situations and come out on top. Where the first pick will be, it's in Xmithie's hands. It is that Kindred.
Yeah, generally this gets answered by a favorable top laner plus braum, especially when Alistar's out of the equation. And we've seen Ekko do well so far in this tournament. A little rough early laning phase against a Trundle pick, but Ekko just has a really high impact later on in the game. LMS could also pivot because we saw how much NL likes his Lucian and his Kalista in the playoffs over there in the LMS. He had Lucian picked against him, so he was forced to play the Kalista. It worked, but it was a rough laning phase. Looking for the lock-in now. A lot of these teams, they've been hovering a lot. I know Jat's a big fan of the, you know, wait until the last second, lock him in, boys, and insta-lock, giving your enemies little time to react, but generous with the hovering.
Very generous, giving everybody time to figure it out. So Lucian picked up for NL. Possibly a pentakill for him there, we'll have to see. MMD has been playing very strong this tournament as well with his own teleports. The Ekko's locked in as we wait for CLG's side.
I wonder if CLG reacts here with a braum Caitlyn. Earlier in the draft, CLG actually neglected to pick up the Lucian in favor of the Caitlyn, so they don't actually need that pick as badly in the game that they played. And with Bard off the table, Alistar off the table, maybe they want the range support to get lane dominance, but braum Caitlyn should be a pick that doesn't reveal too much here for CLG. It fits to their style. They can still pivot into teamfight, but they can also play a more spread out 1-3-1 style later on.
Be figuring out a way they can avoid Maple in the mid lane, keep themselves safe from Karsa as well. Thresh locked in for Aphromoo, with Poppy still coming into play. Many thought she would fall to the wayside this tournament, but she is definitely still finding some love.
Yeah, this is actually pretty interesting here. The playmaking support Thresh favored over the braum, so definitely going for some lane dominance here from CLG. If that ends up being the Caitlyn, though, that's an incredibly hard lane to go against if you are NL and SwordArt, meaning you likely will have to lane swap.
Very true. Loving this pickup already. If CLG were to do the lane swap, so many hooks, so much safety from the Lanterns as well if they get themselves too deep. The variables are, in the numbers, numerous, I would say.
And then Maple obviously wants to hide his mid lane pick, so he picks up Graves for his jungler. The last of kind of the trifecta, Nidalee, Kindred, and Graves. Graves slightly lower on that tier list. With all the supports out, braum eventually gets picked by one team. SwordArt will be playing that. But right now, let's see.
It just goes with the defensive bot lane for them. Helps them stay safe. As well as this team does get a hook. They can Glacial Fish, or they can help themselves a little bit and also have the fight of the two ADs. What's the final pickup here? The Stixxay, his love of life Warwick hover. We'll see what they pick in.
This time it's blind though for CLG. Blind pick mid lane, going up against Maple and Karsa. That is rough overall, especially if Maple can get his hands on something with CC. Having Graves path into that mid lane, think about like a LeBlanc Graves combination can be very hard for HuHi to deal with if he steps over the middle part of the mid lane.
Rise, though, Rise has been banned. LeBlanc is still in there for HuHi's kind of solid play if they were to go back to basics. But the Lissandra is also there, one we put on the chart but just have not seen yet. And it's going to be that Lissandra lock-in.
So yeah, definitely CLG at the end of the play want to end up team fighting, but they don't want to be grouped for it, as opposed to what they were doing in their first game. It'll be a 1-3-1 split push composition with both teleports on the side lanes, Caitlyn sitting together with the Thresh in the mid lane, and having some traps for the safety. Kalista is poorer of a champion to sit in the mid lane. While she lanes very strongly, it is more advised to have at least somewhat wave clear on your AD carry if you want to end up pivoting that AD carry to the mid lane with this composition. That's why CLG opt for the Caitlyn. Also, this means that HuHi and Darshan can do what they did so well in the playoff finals against TSM, which is dive the backline together.
Having that ward control, making sure there's just a few behind your enemy, and being able to execute. We see that CLG has a little bit of trouble when they don't have that room, and we'll get more into that throughout the game. The Gangplank has been the hover for quite some time here for Maple. Looks like it's going to be the lock-in, unless there's a last-second switch. It looks like it's back to basics for Counterlogic Gaming. No more real tank to the top lane. A little bit more aggression from Zion Spartan here with that lineup, as well as Aphromoo on the Thresh.
It's a slow pick. It gets pushed in, but it's bring your own cleanse, which means you can still run the teleport against Lissandra, and even if you don't teleport in, you can match her teleport with your global. So that is the benefit of this Gangplank pick. The cost, obviously, is that you will likely be pushed in the mid lane. And if you look at the bot lane, if it's normal matchups, they will also be pushed in. So there'll be a lot of pushing lanes here for CLG. And that's generally where then a champion like Kindred can take advantage of the map.
So it's basically the favor of NL and SwordArt to get themselves in a different lane here.
I think they need to dodge this lane from CLG.
Flash Wolves coming out strong already. Counterlogic Gaming looking to capitalize on strong play in their first game, but an unfortunate loss. Can they still bring some of that momentum into this game with some better choices? Who do you let us know you think has the edge in this one? Tweet at LOL Esports. You know how to do it. Hashtag CLG win or hashtag FW win. And we'll see how you're voting back into game in just a few minutes. You know, we'll check all the masteries, the keystones, and then your votes. It always matters, ladies and gentlemen. Keep it coming and keep voting for your regions. The implications at MSI are so huge this year. It's incredible. Looking at the compositions now, like we said, CLG back to basics. Gangplank in the mid lane with a little bit of global pressure. If LMS can get this going, they're going to take over this game, I feel.
But if they fall behind, CLG can take complete control of the map. Also, slightly different style here with that Gangplank in the mid lane, but we'll get back to that later.
When we check in on the support and client now, how are you voting? What icons are you using? It looks like CLG has their region behind them, having the higher share of players with their MSI icon equipped. NALCS fans, keep it up. Counterlogic Gaming feels your love, and now they are up against the Flash Wolves. International play has plagued this team, and they will now see if they can kind of put that to bed here at the mid-season Invitational. We're into game. It's CLG versus Flash Wolves.
Yeah, and I'm so excited for this mid lane matchup because while on paper, yeah, the Gangplank gets pushed in, he can actually trade very strongly, especially level 1. You need to watch out if you're watching a good Gangplank player and how he trades level 1, and if he kind of parlays the creeps or his enemy. And Maple, he's shown some really dirty Gangplank things overall, though. Yeah. There's a slight pivot where Karsa isn't around mid as much, but because that's Maple is already so good on Gangplank in that lane on his own. So that will be a test for HuHi, and yeah, maybe silence some critics, because going into the tournament, many people thought that HuHi would be the weak link in a tournament that fields a lot of strong mid laners.
Right. One thing I looked at just now, well, saw before, but really saw within their last few picks of Gangplank, is that there is hardly any crowd control coming from this Flash Wolves team. So like you said, falling behind is not going to do them any justice whatsoever. It's going to be a very hard game.
If they can get a good kite off, though, and then turn the fight, like get the concussive blows off from the braum, a couple barrels explode, and then the exit gets kind of shut off by the Gangplank ultimate, that's suddenly where these fights start turning. But CLG definitely still have the easier fight with all those CC effects.
That one thing you were saying about Flash Wolves is almost where we kind of hit on CLG for making that mistake, going a little too aggressive, trying to play off the enemy's mistakes and then making one of their own.
Yeah, that was a mark of CLG, especially later on in the playoffs. A lot of the plays they actually started themselves ended up failing, but then they had the necessary patience to wait for TSM to either walk into their trap, or TSM sadly overreach just that little bit and then get punished by CLG.
Ooh, it's like we get the matchup in every lane here. Standard to start off game number 4 of the mid-season Invitational. Like we said, it's that grudge match for Counterlogic Gaming.
On paper, that should be 3 at least. Losing lanes in terms of push. It obviously depends on how hard this Poppy got hit with the nerfs. Chat went over it in one of his casts. It's like late game, that's 50-60 damage on every all-in that Poppy does. Combined grasp, damage from the Q, you know, the E range being a little lower, too hard to hit.
Mid lane staying quite even, 8-8. Maple does not look like he's having too much fun right now, but it's not like he has the mana to keep this up.
Yeah, HuHi's just focusing on the push here.
Yes.
Once you get the momentum going, Gangplank has to kind of start losting in our tower, which means he can't trade. And a pick like Lissandra can always call out. That means pressure advantage in one lane. In bot lane, you have the double range versus melee and range, which means CLG has the pressure advantage there. Xmithie has access to both jungles then.
We'll see how he plays on this Kindred. We knew Xmithie to be a very prominent tank jungler in past seasons, but not anymore. Spring Split, even before Spring Split, we saw at Worlds, he has started to go aggressive and change that style, which as a variable for the team has been amazing.
Yeah, you have to in this meta. If you still stick to tank junglers, I don't think you'll ever get to MSI. Incredibly important. That's also why we see all these tanks stuff, because the junglers are saying, no. It's my time to carry.
This guy used
you had your season.
Nasus.
Yeah.
You had your season indeed. So it looks like even on the junglers, 14 to 12 in camps. Scuttle's being grabbed up by Karsa as he moves around. Something we do have to mention though, double TPs from both sides, so those can be matched, but Maple may be able to make that work with the global ultimate, keeping his lane pushed in that instance when it comes around.
Yeah, generally double TP early game means very tempered aggression or all out bot lane fiesta. There's no in between. Either everybody comes to the bot lane or everybody's too afraid to make a play.
Yep.
We saw Xmithie already pick up his first mark, however, so that's good. Aphromoo hasn't spotted the enemy jungler here. This could be big.
Looks like they actually want Aphromoo. They know Stixxay has to heal the flash, and they're going to go for the support on this one. The heal comes out from Stixxay. Is the save. NL goes down. First blood for CLG.
The patience on that heal from Stixxay. Aphro turns it around with the hook, and there's more.
It's not over. The fuse has been lit, and it is burning down. Unfortunately for CLG, they lose Darshan in quite a hard play. One of the TPs has been used. MMD stays in the top lane, gets a little bit of love from Xmithie, but now he controls that.
Yeah, the back end of that play was absolutely massive for Flash Wolves because CLG greed in again and make the mistake
too far
on their aggressive play while outplaying on their defensive play, something we've seen before and we may see over and over again here. Darshan loses a lot in the top lane.
So he's going to have to, actually can't TP back, going to have to run back up, use a little bit of steadfast presence to get himself there, but...
It's the walk of shame, you know?
It is.
When you TP to the bot lane, you die. It's kind of, you know, after Thanksgiving, or not Thanksgiving, but any other holiday party where you stay out a little late, you're still dressed up, gotta walk back to lane.
Somebody else's socks on. You're just a mess. But he's gonna be fine. Like we said, is it the mentality thing? There was a play onto Mata's Alistar in that previous game that completely allowed Mata and the rest to run down, take the game, take it all. Royal never give up, take the victory. Is that cascading into this game?
Maybe. I think the TP was the right call. Whenever they're fighting bot lane, the first thing to do is just teleport and then you assess the situation.
Right,
here.
so we get to actually see it here.
Yeah. You see it engage with Aphromoo. At this point, Aphromoo knows the jungler is here. He gets smoke screen, then he definitely knows the jungler is here. But look at the communication. The heal is so patient from Stixxay and then gets 2 flashes and then gets a level up or no, just a little bit extra healing there from the potion. Now Darshan comes in and this is where, yeah, that's just plain old greed. He just wants to kill so badly. You gotta make it worth. Sunk cost fallacy and all. I invested time in his TP and he just gets kited.
I have to consider the wall push was down when he had himself pinned up against that goal side, but it looks like Karsa makes it out, gets the kill, and evens things up just a little bit. Counterlogic Gaming been able to work the map in those kills in the bot lane with first blood is that lead that you see so far. But can they keep it up? Does Stixxay continue to get going? Because we have seen the quadra kills from him in very intense fights.
Yeah, but look at the item discrepancy. This has caused BF Sword into Longsword Co. So that's very rough in the bot lane. Meanwhile, Maple is farming well though. Even CS in a matchup that consistently pushes you in. It's good later on because now he has his ultimate available. So any more bot lane shenanigans get punished with Cannon Barrage.
And they're ready for this, right? They're braum Lucian. We said they're the defensive lane. They're going to hunker down. They're going to make this work for themselves.
They better.
That's the way it should work. Karsa with the Caulfield's Warhammer as he starts to come out with a bit more damage. Capitalizing on that kill early really helps him in the jungle because, like we said, that CC is not going to give him, no CC, I should say. It's going to be difficult in the early game.
Yeah, CLG with these pushing lanes now have access to aggressive plays, but they fail them more often than not. Yeah. Very rarely have we seen an aggressive play work. HuHi decides to use his teleport back to the lane. So there will be a TP advantage plus global advantage for Maple. Maybe, you know, some of these crowd control effects on SwordArt, they can generate a play.
Looking down towards that bot side, a lot of vision prioritized for Counterlogic Gaming. A few wards recently placed by Flash Wolves here. CLG's just focusing, grabbing resources around the map, making sure Xmithie can kind of farm up here because without seeing Karsa too much, they got to figure he's trying to hard farm as well. So trying to keep up with that damage.
Yeah, there was the ultimate from Graves used. Stixxay needs the lantern. Woo. Karsa tried to steal the Scuttle Crab. Stixxay still got it. I mean, Xmithie still got it, rather. Yep. He's on 3 stacks right now. A little bit of action in the bot lane. Didn't lead anywhere.
Nope.
Back to square one.
And with that vision, as we were talking, we actually talked about this yesterday. Vision on one side can tell you if nobody's there, they're on the other side, even without having vision there. So it was almost a play by CLG in the bot lane to go off of that as well with the vision from Xmithie. Parallel convergence. Whoa, is he window shopping right now? Xmithie flashes over the wall, and MMD is good. Gets himself a kill.
Yeah, he just watches as Xmithie basing. One more second, patience. Xmithie's already looking at the shop. What I'm buying with all this beautiful gold.
Oh.
He gets a free trip to base.
Yep, fastest way to back. 2-1 now, as Flash Wolves kind of pick themselves up the breadcrumbs, finding them very, very slowly here.
And Darshan, he's gonna suffer from that play. First he teleports to the bot lane, greets, dies, walks back, then his jungler gets picked off by MMD. He's now a full level ahead.
Yep. CS as well, stacking up the Dark Seal, and it doesn't even look like he's really been back to get what that gold has actually just put in his pocket. So MMD looking very good once again within this game, and it's going to free up the pressure for Flash Wolves around the map. Able to make some TP plays possibly soon, but they don't even really have to pressure anything.
Yeah, Flash Wolves, they could afford to wait because they kind of survived the roughest part, I feel,
it's true,
of the early game. They're within 10 CS on a bot lane that already died. Their mid lane's equal CS. Their top lane is spiraling ahead. So I think Flash Wolves are definitely happy with the outcome of the game so far. But we need to see if CLG can kind of get to their signature playstyle later on.
Whoa, Stixxay a little too close. There's where the Thresh comes into play, and this is where the globals do. It's going to be Karsa as well coming to the bot side. One cupcake goes out. Aphromoo looks like he should live through this situation as well. Darshan's going to come back and get a piece of this one, and peace is made with Karsa as he goes down blowing his flash.
And another aggressive play from the enemy, turned around by CLG. They are actually so good at turning the tide in these fights. Stixxay manages to survive, hold his summoners until he baits in Karsa far enough, and then the return teleport comes in. Ooh. This time, it works out. CLG punish Flash Wolves for a kind of forced engage. I don't think you can chase that unless you get the concussive blows off immediately.
No.
It was very close.
Absolutely.
One more stack. And yeah, Flash Wolves, they paid the price.
This Thresh coming up huge for the bit of aggression, the few steps forward that we're seeing CLG take. Lanterns to safety here. Summoners were still blown in the bot side, so the options of these globals, of TPs, MMD, maybe solo kill himself one in the bot lane. There's still a lot of options here, but CLG is fighting to stay in this one.
And I'm liking the control. I'm liking the control from Stixxay overall.
Yes.
Because after some of these mistakes that may have cost him the game earlier, he's playing very calm, not panic healing, not panic flashing until he absolutely has to.
Yep.
The heal on Aphromoo was so late, so beautiful that it actually generated a turnaround kill earlier. Many other AD carries would have just, used the heal as early as possible. So very, very calm and collected here on the MSI stage.
Plays to be made in even the tightest of situations. That's what he tries to do. The team as well behind him in all of those. They put the trust of the Rage Blade Tristana in Stixxay. So that confidence to him as well kind of bleeds out, or from the team bleeds to him, I should say. MMD going hard in the top lane, and Darshan has to respect. He just goes around and gets himself some vision. 90 to 76, really the discrepancy we're seeing here, but it's 102 to 85, so kind of teeter-tottering between those two lanes. Yeah,
and team trust is just so important right now in League of Legends. It's no longer where individuals can single-handedly carry these games.
Yeah.
That's why, if you look at Flash Wolves, for example, they played a while with Breeze, and while many consider him actually a stronger mechanical player than NL, they switched back to NL because there was this familiarity, comfort between NL and SwordArt, which then meant SwordArt now has more time to do other things, like shot call.
Right.
Him together with Karsa was actually the shot calling duo. They took over from Stake, who now was replaced by MMD in the top lane, was being quite comfortable so far in this game. And the circle goes around. It's all connected.
Full circle.
Full circle.
You could say. It's hard to actually find that in a team. Many a time you see the changes made and it takes a
while.
Few months, or you change in the middle and it takes a while just to get that change made. Flash Wolves was able to go back to that synergy. It's much like we kind of even saw SKT find. Add a player that kind of helps everybody, and then it's just a synergy of everyone getting better. Blank got better, the rest of the team got better, and we're seeing the same thing with Flash Wolves. Karsa and Maple holding down the mid lane with Xmithie on the side. Karsa's coming just off the back here.
And that tower is slowly getting chipped away, and that is obviously the downside of playing a losing pushing matchup.
Yep.
when you're busy CSing on the tower, enemy mid laner will hit that tower, or bot laner, wherever you are on the map. I think Freak will be happy as well. No Infinity Edge Rush here. BF into the rapid fire cannon. 4 more sieging potential here. Maximum mathematical DPS.
The math man himself. Well, we'll see if they actually start to get that turret down or try to pressure it. With that item buy, it kind of means they want to accelerate this part.
Yeah, they just want to get those turrets down in general with their composition. Swap the Caitlyn to mid, Lissandra on the bottom, and that's when CLG get into their comfort zone. 15 to 25 minutes, double TP on each flank. Leave some deep lingering wards, and then wait for your opponent to step forward. That's it, come on in boys. TP behind, and then HuHi and Darshan can pick a target, lock it down in the back line, and make the fight 4v5.
Think of what could have happened here if this lane swapped and Xmithie and Aphromoo were lanterning, going in and out of the jungle, trying to create more pressure here. The matchup has definitely slowed things down in that sense for them, but they are starting to now get to those turrets, want to accelerate it. And it looks like they're denied. Once again, NL calls that bot lane, gives it a little bit of breathing room, but here's that invade we were just talking about. Is it too far, though? The collateral damage puts him in a good spot. HuHi's trying to go through the mid lane by himself under a very low turret. There's the hook from Aphromoo as HuHi flashes to safety. And it looks like they're able to keep themselves quite safe, making the best of look like a bad situation, what was going to happen.
Yeah, CLG with a bit of a pincer move right there, but Flash Tools, they were ready to defend against it. They saw it coming. But in the end of it, CLG poked them out. Towers on 1 or 2 hits remaining, so unless Stixxay walks up, takes some tower shots, I think CLG will finally take the mid lane tower down. And this is exactly what they want. Flash Rolls, they just wanted to delay this. This was the inevitable. Yeah. It's not like this is a major turning point in the matchup. I think they did a great job stalling out the inevitable so far, and need to wait for Maple to scale up on that Gangplank.
It's not going to be too hard. Should have a lane to go at now as it pushes down towards mid. It's the damage that CLG can do. Looks like it actually is going to be Stixxay down back towards that mid lane. Bot lane's harmed up by HuHi here, so still actually keeping it slow. Maybe Dragon's going to be the next thing if they can get something there, knowing they're a bit ahead in that sense.
Yeah, but while Stixxay's alone in the mid lane, HuHi needs some backup.
This is
calls
true.
it support. Needs to focus on wave clear. And obviously that risk of getting go.
Whoa, he just has the ultimate in a few seconds, and they're going to stick on this one. Aphromoo and CLG there. Here comes Darshan. Steadfast fast presence is there. Mouthful of words. There's the slow for the buckler. Who's going to finish that one? It's going to be Darshan. Slow, methodical. CLG didn't want to go too hard on that one, and they were almost divvying up the final kill.
Yeah, spread out on a map. Wait for your opponent to step in.
Yeah.
Kind of be a little bored of what's going on. Greed for the tower, suddenly teleport comes in, backup comes in. CLG read the situation perfectly, and HuHi did a good sidestep there on the tower. He did a lot of damage to 3 people, kind of started off the play, so far, he's definitely not dropping the ball. Cheeky hook from Aphromoo, not going to lead to anything.
Wonder if they can actually make something happen, but no push coming in from that wave of Darshan and HuHi. Figure he might teleport back to stop MMD in his tracks, but looks like CLG is going to stay for the long haul here.
Yep, they stay. They kind of little the jungle with some wards, and they can kind of pivot between mid and bot lane right now. And that's also where their composition is strong, the sieges, because if you look at the traps, often neglected, but it's such a strong zoning tool because you force your opponents to move into predictable paths, and then you can hit them with more skill shots or simply zone them off the tower.
CLG doing what they can to work on this, but the clear for Maple, the clear from NL, and the culling is going to give MMD time in the mid lane here. I thought he was actually coming over for the fight, but they want to open up this map like a Christmas present and find out what's inside once they can get those deep wards in.
Yep. Tower gold is probably going to be inside of that one. Good reaction from Flash Rules, not all panicking, going to that bot lane tower, relying on their wave clear.
Ooh.
They trade like 50% of the tier 2 to 75% of tier 1. Arguable trade overall. If CLG can keep this tier 1 tower alive for a while, it may actually be good, because the next push on tier 2 bot will mean that tower goes down.
Decent damage with the Triforce finished now on Maple. Swifties for himself. Very quick Morello Namicon into the distortion boots for HuHi. He wants to keep himself moving, wants to keep himself teleporting, but we haven't actually seen that big play yet. Maybe the confidence isn't there. Maybe they feel like they don't have that sort of lead yet.
Yeah, Lissandra can generate some plays early on by teleporting to a fight, but generally the big flanks come in the team fight phase once that mid lane tower is down, once she's on one of the side lanes. So that play, he's still looking for it. CLG still has some time before it becomes kind of a waste. HuHi used his teleport for pressure. He kept locking in Maple and it allowed Xmithie to move in for pressure, and that means kind of CLG could see everything that Flash Wolves was doing, could see it coming and react. The Flash Wolves have done a good job to stop the bleeding. Only 1,200 gold behind, so that means nothing today.
Whew. But that bot lane, Infinity Edge rapid fire now to NL's.
That's early.
Reaver. Yeah, real early. Looking at 2 items below 20 minutes, even about 18 minutes here.
Yeah.
So if they are actually able to get into a scuffle, that's going to be somebody dead very fast. Levels are matched up around the board, so that's really keeping the game even as well, maybe holding CLG back. They're giving things second thoughts, but this safe play is almost giving Flash Wolves a lot of time to work with.
Yeah, this is also the time where supports get to actually make a choice. You get your boots, then you get your support item upgraded with your Sidestone, combine it. That's when you can actually pivot. Likely going to be an Aegis for both these squads here, so choice isn't that big for support players these days.
Yep.
And that wave is gone.
Pressure towards the top lane. Yeah, actually all 3 members of CLG were like, maybe not. Let's actually walk away from this one. They say Rift Herald as well, so objective control actually over to Chronologic Gaming, and it's something we kind of see Flash Wolves either kind of say yes or just meh, that's fine. This time of the game is ours. We're going to do what we want.
I mean, they yield the necessary objectives based on their composition, also based on how the game has gone. When you have all these losing lanes, push-wise, you lose what's in between, whether it's the vision, whether it's objectives.
I felt that.
Whether it's Xmithie's health, he loses that too. Maple, we're starting to see why he likes his Gangplank, why it's such a favorable pick for him, even in the LMS. Does a lot of damage.
And that's something we actually really didn't mention. We mentioned a little bit of like the experience of international stage that Flash Wolves also brings to this with their members. NL, SwordArt, Maple, Karsa. There is Aphromoo, there is Darshan and Xmithie, but there's a lot of experience on the stage there to help MMD. You have 2 members that are kind of, this is a lot of pressure to help work through.
Yeah, and he got a good start, and I was talking to Clement a little bit for the LMS, and he says that MMD is very, very influenced in terms of confidence, so when he gets going, he plays well, but a lot of people were kind of afraid for if he gets ganked a lot or falls behind on the international stage here with the Flash Wolves, that his confidence kind of takes a hit. He starts playing a lot more poorly.
On the LMS, I think taking down AHQ is a pretty good confidence booster after kind of getting hit all season. Yeah. It almost works like, I can't pass these tests during the middle of the school year, but I'll ace that final. I'll crush it.
Oh, they aced the final.
That very scholastic season.
That 3-0 against AHQ was, I believe, 50 kills versus 16 or something crazy, so it was a complete wash here. Flash Wolves definitely showed up. Finally got past AHQ. Couldn't do it last year in spring finals. Didn't even make it to the match against AHQ because they lost against Hong Kong Esports in the summer. Finally made it. Just like CLG finally beat TSM.
Yep. Getting the kills that they need and running very similar compositions here to try and get the same effect. Get that victory. Already down 1 here in the double round robin of the MSI.
Yeah, that could be a bad start here for CLG. Play 2 winnable games and go 0-2.
Absolutely. That first game, absolutely incredible. The way they were actually playing it took them off guard. We heard Royal Never Give Up say, we actually didn't know what to do at first, and it took us time to figure it out. And you actually, how often do you get to hear that from a team? Yeah,
you could tell that Xiaohu had never laned against Aurelion Sol, because whenever HuHi used his Q on creeps, Xiaohu just stood there and watched him like farm with auto attacks.
No aggression.
Yeah, no aggression. I think he'll learn eventually. But it was a very fun match to watch just overall. Yeah. The first 2 matches, both CLG's and G2's match, just was so enjoyable because there was a couple mistakes there, which kind of...
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah, the pace goes up a little bit, a lot more bloodshed. I enjoy it.
Oh, here's the push in that prepped up.
Oh, SwordArt!
Whoa, SwordArt going hard on Aphromoo, the guy that's been saving everyone else. And this time, Stixxay can't get the heal off fast enough, but that summoner was used. And this is just a collapse by Flash Wolves. Is it going to be HuHi that can make the difference? And the pincer, actually I should say flank from the side, isn't good enough.
HuHi made a big mistake in that fight. We'll get to that later, hopefully on a replay, because there's more action.
Oh, the stand beside me into the hit, as well as the hit from Karsa. kills coming up here for Flash Wolves big, and it has been a lull since this point, and Flash Wolves just turned up the heat.
Yeah, turned up the heat, and suddenly explosions everywhere. SwordArt goes in, managed to survive just barely, but HuHi was coming in the back with the Ice Claw, wanted to pop it at maximum distance and then flash in, but he forgot to pop it. And then he just had to walk awkwardly, flash forward, and at that point, CLG kind of lost the momentum of the fight. That's a big mistake here. Aphromoo flashes, trades his flash for MMDs.
Yep.
Maple here, big cask. Ooh.
Look at this counter logic gaming. Darshan getting into a little bit of a tussle, and they'll get out. But right as they come up, back in the batting order, back to fighting. Counter logic gaming wants the objectives.
All teleports down right here. So suddenly from a
got some frequent flyer miles.
little passive mid game here. All the miles racked up here. Let's watch this again. So it start with SwordArt looking for an opportunity. One mark, dashes to a creep, flashes in for the ulti, and then just keep your eyes on the top right of your screen here on the Ice Cloud from HuHi. It's there, it's there, it's still there, it's gone. He has the flash. Karsa steps out, and at this point, Flash Wolves, they know exactly what's going on here, and the flank, that could have been big here. That could have been another big punish from CLG.
Maple as well, just oranges the frozen tomb.
That was a panic ulti from HuHi.
It's, well, yeah, save my team. Hopefully no more damage comes through from him, but you almost have to do it. So Counter Logic Gaming definitely on the back foot now. Could not find ground in the beginning of the game, but Stixxay still massing items now with the Hurricane.
Yeah, we're looking at a 3-item Caitlyn, and we've seen what 3-4 items on that Caitlyn can do later on in the fight if he gets ignored. And even if it starts poorly, because there's a lot of damage on Flash Wolves, we have Xmithie that can buy time, and then just at the end of that ultimate from the Kindred, one kind of rune-on proc on everybody can win a team fight.
14s, level 15s, no 16s yet. Easy for me to say. As we come up here on 25 minutes into the game, Counter Logic Gaming still very objective focused, so they've kind of gotten themselves 2 more dragons to 5. Flash Wolves will have to take consideration at number 4.
Yeah, that early dragon that CLG took, now paying off. If you keep control of the map, that can become a win condition. Requires a very early dragon to be taken, but Xmithie snuck in, I believe, and just took it on his own.
MMD. Darkseal was a good idea. Things were popping off for him in the beginning, but then it kind of slowed down.
It's like 2 stacks, yeah, baby, all the way up to 10.
Here we go. We're going to get it.
Potentially.
And then everybody's like, let's not go to his lane. We're going to stay away from MMD.
And then he remembers he's not in solo queue, he's in competitive, where sadly there's maximum like 7 kills in 25 minutes.
Yeah, basically. He's still pretty big. Iceborne into that Sunfire so he can make something happen here. Respect from Darshan to the bot lane to stop this outer tier. Actually living quite a long life in this game.
Yeah, a lot of towers stayed alive quite long. Mostly due to the kind of the push that CLG had generated for themselves. Darshan expertly lost it in here with the help of that Sunfire. He's down a little bit though, 180 CS versus 220. He struggled. Had that bad TP in the early game. Then had Xmithie donate to the Make MMD Comfortable Fund. Got that kill in the jungle. Wasn't really paying attention. Window shopping, we've all done it.
Oh man, so unfortunate when it happens as well. But you got to clear your mind. Remember, there's still more game to play.
More items to buy.
More items to buy. Hopefully your AD carry is going to have more than the other one, and that's the case here for Counter Logic Gaming. Stixxay's been a guy that if they can protect, he can make it happen. And NL is saying, you know what, things are scary. I need a QSS right now.
Yeah, and that's actually interesting because that's even going to further the gap when it comes to dueling potential. So NL can never take on Stixxay 1v1. He has to hide in the backline. Generally, that's where he's comfortable. He is that kind of player, and just get like a Captain Jack QSS off and win the fight.
This becomes a let Maple farm every lane, basically. Let him be huge. We need the raid boss in the mid lane. MMD actually going to be quite big as well in that sense. He'll be able to also just wreak havoc with Maple.
All right, we're seeing a teleport or a base here from HuHi. Has teleport available, so if Flash will step forward anywhere, Darshan really wants that blue buff. And he gets it.
And they try to walk them out a little bit here, leaving the breadcrumb trail, then giving HuHi time to teleport. Raptor Camp is where HuHi comes in. Darshan's going to try to push himself that way. Oh! The max range hook on NL after the cleanse from Aphromoo. Can they solidify more in the fight, though? All of that aggression still put them in a very dangerous position. A 2-1 so far in favor of CLG, and it looks like they want MMD. His ultimate is still up, so he can chrono break back and make this a dangerous fight. CLG wants a little bit more, but they decide not to.
Yeah, they get 2 for 1 at the cost of, looks like both TPs went down here. We saw the reaction TP early from MMD trying to collapse on Darshan, but then HuHi went mid. QSS was used, and obviously an expert hook here from Aphromoo. He's in his comfort zone. He's basically every kill that I think CLG has picked up, there was a hook involved almost at this point.
Right, it's been the hook, the bait-in as well. This bot lane duo has been facilitating a lot of those 5 kills coming up here. 4 alone, Stixxay's been a part of, and let's see this again.
Yeah, he comes in from the flank, flashes, and they'll get slowed still even if you QSS. Obviously that AoE area from the ulti is going to slow you down, and then it's very easy for Aphromoo to do the math in his head. If a hook leaves Thresh at 2 o'clock, and Lucian's walking away, does it collide? Yes, it does. Aphromoo nets the kill. 2 for 1 overall for CLG.
But what was X? What was X? Oh, blue's going to be taken. So MMD and Karsa have been pretty much trading who gets CLG's blue now, as MMD was farming that top lane earlier. So HuHi's kind of been on the low side of the mana as he tries to clear these waves out. Zanya's Morello rather, still going to keep him pretty healthy. But where's an open lane? It's at the bot one. And who's there? It's Maple again.
Yeah, Maple's just cheering on his team from the side. You guys are doing a fantastic job. I'm really proud to be your teammate. Meanwhile, I'll just take this farm, while I'm here, take this tower. The good old Gangplank returns.
Oh, you guys want some gold too? Perfect, there you go.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is definitely caring. And right now, hopefully NL can start sharing in the kills, or even assists at that point. It's been very hard for him to complete any more of these items. Currently sitting on just around 1,300, so probably gonna get some more damage in there as soon as he can, but really can't leave the team right now. Dragon's up, and he has to fight with that gold in his pocket.
Yeah, gold in his pocket, and Flashwolves may feel forced to fight this. Dragon's going down quick, though. CLG
word.
looking at the cusp of number 4.
That would have been huge, but it does not put that timer that they want on it. Dragon number 5 is going to be a forced fight here. Chronologic Gaming just got another variable to work with.
Yeah, and CLG sending a clear message here. They could have looked for a turn onto Karsa, but they just say, nope, we don't want any of that. We're playing for Dragon number 5. We're going to control the map, potentially with our 1-3-1, see if we can delay Baron. Flash will say, well, we're not delaying that anymore. Baron gets started. Woo!
TP from base. HuHi trying to get the home guard on. Darshan's going to be the first one out. Remember, they have another one, and HuHi's going to actually come a little bit farther from the jungle this time, but they're not going to let Flash Wolves get away easy here, it looks like. They're going to route them, try to push down mid.
Yeah, they want to rotate to the mid lane here. No kind of double TP on one ward, because HuHi still had to shop a little bit in base, get some health. So they pivot to the mid lane to force Flash Wolves to reveal themselves in mid lane, and that leaves the river open to take the vision again. That's generally what you want to do. Push mid, force the other team to react, and then you get access to whatever objective. Left side Baron, right side Dragon.
SwordArt, or rather Flash Wolves testing the water a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, saying it's a little cold. We're not going to try that this time.
It's a win for them though. They just start the Baron. They lose 1 minion wave, and they gain 2 teleports.
Yep.
So really big move from Flash Wolves, and almost a little erratic kind of reaction from CLG. They did not need HuHi's teleport. They had already had Flash Wolves backed off, and they saw a bit of a rotation, but the minion waves just weren't quite there yet. Flash Wolves could easily path over. And now CLG may be forced to group up again, because they can't really play the split game, because then double global plus double TP, or single global plus double TP here from Flash Wolves may stop CLG in their tracks.
All right, 31, taking stock of things in this game. 5 marks of the Kindred over towards Xmithie as he's been farming himself up, but not finding too many. That's been on that cromp for I don't even know how long. They're really not able to get over there, so it's just Flash Wolves keeping it.
Yeah, CLG putting up the pressure, hurting the cattle, keeping them combined in the mid lane, because they do not want MMD splitting on the bot lane, because if Darshan matches, he has teleport advantage. Kind of peculiar to see Flash Wolves not split up. They're not the best 1-3-1 team, however, though. Looks like we're just going to have a big old fight.
Everything onto Aphromoo. Looks like they'll be able to back up. We have Maple on the backside here that's going to come into this fight. They take down Stixxay, and now they're looking for NL. Darshan's trying to go hard on that one. Xmithie just dodges the collateral damage as well with the ult up, but he will find himself going down. HuHi now Aphromoo on the other side with Darshan, and it looks like they just traded sides of the map, but Flash Wolves going to come out way ahead on this one.
Yeah, but this time another 2-for-1, but it's on the side of Flash Wolves advantageously here and taking down 2 key members, Xmithie and Stixxay fall.
MMD can just toy with CLG now, stopping the backs, not allowing this Triforce Maple, along with more damage in the mid lane, is going to start dropping inhibitor turrets with Karsa there, and this may even be an inhibitor. It's only Aphromoo here, as MMD is just toying with CLG, HuHi and Darshan, back and forth. The chrono break in, HuHi's going to use these Zanyas, MMD's out with the passive movement speed. And man, a ring around the rosy if I ever saw one.
Yeah, completely confident in his ability to dodge these spells. He shifts out of that dash from Darshan mid-flight. He goes back in time, resets his position, and then escapes to the left side. Stage left, MMD says, I'm out. And that fight overall, we need to see how Stixxay died, kind of, because he got annihilated very early in the fight.
Looks like Chronologic Gaming actually isn't wasting any time to get themselves back out onto the map here. The super minions coming down the mid lane. They don't want to give that any pressure. A TP in the bramble pit from MMD. He just got done wreaking havoc, and he is right back at the plate again. Batter up. HuHi's going to be the one in front of this. And it looks like they're going to knock it out of the park. MMD still going for Xmithie. Lamb's Respite still up on this fight, so it looks like they're going to use this pressure to say, do you want to go for broke? We're going to toy with Baron.
Yeah, Baron bait coming out here and face checking into a Gangplank is very ill-advised overall. Definitely do not want to be the team that has to face check a Gangplank, but it looks like Flash Wolves will force CLG to do that. Knock, knock.
Oh, don't line up. Only one on that. It's MMD. That's going to be NL going down. A great fight in the pit. Flash Wolves actually takes this. Lamb's Respite goes down, and so will Xmithie as he's forced to hop out with the amount of brute force coming in from Flash Wolves, and the barrels of fun coming out from Maple. The flash forward, he gets one, he hits it, and that's gonna be the follow-up onto Aphromoo as well. We talked about no crowd control, but these guys are making it work.
I mean, Def is the ultimate CC, a staple here for Maple with the Gangplank overall. Just annihilates, explodes Stixxay. He walks up to kind of enter the fight. Boom, half his HP gone. Suddenly, it turns very, very dark here for CLG, looking to open up day one with a 0-2.
See this fight one more time. Looked like it was going to be at least 3 members.
Yeah, MMD takes the ulti and then gets zooped back into that fight, he says. And NL goes down, but he's actually the member that's kind of farthest behind. Xmithie does a good job kiting here, but keep your eyes on Maple and what he's doing in that fight. He's just dealing so much damage overall. The next barrel here is the one that's going to take down Stixxay. Let's see if he could avoid it. He just walks up. Ooh, that's tunnel vision right there.
So much damage immediately. And the follow-up as well. Complete confidence from both players, knowing they were going in on a good call, and that's what it looks like. Guardian Angel now for MMD, 6-0-2, participating in 8 out of the 11 kills so far in this game. Same thing with Maple, as they try to stop Baron number 5. Hook goes out, SwordArt not exactly the one they want. That's Darshan with a great hit again onto, that's NL this time. Darshan very, very low. HuHi's stuck in the front. Will he be able to claw himself out of this one? That's the lantern in. Darshan looks like he could be going down next with Xmithie falling first. And as he pushes himself to safety, they will not get Dragon. It is stopped for number 5, and Flash Wolves are starting to put the pain on him. The Guardian Angel comes up big, and now, again, a push down mid lane. Inhibitor actually may be spawning quite soon.
Yeah, but MMD's backline disruption in all these fights is just fantastic to watch. He feels very comfortable here. Goes in, 1v2 in the backline, gets back out with his ultimate worst case, has that Guardian Angel. He's just buying so much time while Flash Wolves deal with the front line, and when they're done, CLG had no option left other than to run.
Breathe moment. Flash Wolves just wanting fight after fight after fight. And it's actually what we saw Chronologic Gaming bring to the table as well versus Royal. Something they tried to go toe-to-toe with, and it worked for the most part of the game.
Yeah, with that Ekko pick, they did the same thing in Finals 2 versus TSM. Look at the backline disruption. MMD knows all he has to do is go for the backline, but we'll see that later again.
More fights, Quepo! It's always going on here. Again, the fuse is lit, and a bit of danger is averted.
Even Maple was confused when we came out of that replay, because that's the first battle combo that he's missed. Just puts them a little bit too far apart.
Wasn't enough powder between them. It's all right. The next one will be full to the brim. Getting up onto the waves now. The Baron has really no way for Counter Logic Gaming to stop him. You're looking for Stixxay's Peacemaker to clear it, or HuHi, and at this point, HuHi has nothing on those minions. This is now Flash Wolf starting to put the pressure on, and they're not even going lane to lane. They're keeping it all in one, and they're choking down on CLG. Darshan, even with the Thornmail, can't really make this stop. Doesn't even deliver that much damage back to NL off of his culling, and it's really the back and forth. Who's gonna make the first mistake? CLG's fighting under turret, and it's what they need to do, but I feel like Flash Wolves can still take this fight regardless.
Yeah, very controlled team fight so far from Flash Wolves here. They're walking up. Darshan threatening with the hammer. Connects, but that's just one more wave that they buy time. They're waiting for Baron buff to run out. 2 more seconds, no more bonus. So now they're fighting against normal minions, which means they can clear it before it hits the tower. So CLG successfully defend their inhibitor, but they lose control of the map.
All right, Crepo. So what is the perfect instance now for Counter Logic Gaming? Having these guys up at their turrets means there's a lot of teleport room, but is that even safe at this point?
Yeah, step 1 for that play is still having the wards though behind them.
Yeah.
Right now the map is clean of wards.
Absolutely.
And then target selection. Who are you gonna target if you're CLG? You probably need HuHi and Darshan to work together. But you can't go for targeted lockdown with that ultimate from Lissandra anymore, because Maple can cleanse it with the orange. NL has his QSS available. MMD is probably just not gonna die. You won't kill him in like 3 seconds of CC, which means he'll ulti, and that kind of negates everything you've done so far. So when that happens, you generally say, okay, we won't go in hardcore, we'll just kite. But in terms of kiting, Flash Wolves win the damage race with Maple, so it's a very hard position for CLG to beat in, and they kind of just need to have 3 or 4 members focus the same target, surprise Flash Wolves, and win the fight then with a numbers advantage.
The thing is, Flash Wolves doesn't back down from those fights where they instantly lose somebody. They are ready to go.
And they also have the exhaust here on SwordArt as opposed to Ignite.
It's very true.
Aphromoo, it gets you a lot of early game presence and kills and momentum, but late game, exhausting one of these carries. SwordArt can just buffer it. Whenever HuHi comes in, he clicks it on HuHi before the claw, and then when the claw gets popped, it just instant exhaust. The game does it for you.
Ignite win lane, exhaust win game.
I agree.
I agree. We'll see how well it is used in the upcoming fights. A few targets that can make NL go bye-bye. And that exhaust will give him exactly what he needs to stay alive long enough. Still no kills going on to Maple. He's had a fantastic game, 362 CS, keeping up with HuHi there, and has the kills to boot. Now they start on the top turret here, being very methodical about this and not pushing themselves, Flash Wolves that is, into a dangerous spot. They're taking it as they can.
Some damage from Xmithie and a couple big crits from Stixxay onto Maple. Can't kill him though. He has a lot of damage, but he's not very tanky.
That's right.
So all it takes is a couple lucky crits or Maple walking through a trap for that like maximum range headshot coming out.
Yeah. They're also starting to spread thin. This finally, MMD starts to go to another lane here. Looks like they back off. MMD recognizes there isn't enough pressure on the top side. He's in a dangerous position. I wonder how fast he actually goes back. The whole team actually is going to go back. Getting ready for Baron, getting ready for Dragon, number 5. 1 minute on both.
Yeah, and I got some sweet numbers whispered in my ear by Spellsy. So far, Maple has done 27,000 damage. That's more than double than any individual in this game. So he's trailing to second place by a large margin, over 13k damage extra dealt. So he is definitely controlling the pace of a lot of these team fights.
And I guess if you haven't played against a Gangplank this good with his barrels, you see those hits. You see the catches that you don't suppose will be caught in that bot lane on HuHi or on Aphromoo, onto Stixxay when he walks forward. You're not expecting this, but he's been playing that solid.
Yeah, and it's all about just triggering the barrels at the right time.
Yeah.
And it's actually impressive that he can do it consistently so without enemy team kind of focusing his barrels down, because generally these players, they play on a Korean server, a lot of these teams in the LMS region, but they play on like what, 60, 80 ping. So sure, in their matches, their official matches, they go down to 8 ping. Maybe when they scrim, they have lower ping too. But when you really want to learn a champion like Gangplank, you need to play it over and over in solo queue, and your timings are completely different there. So that makes it even more impressive what Maple is doing here.
Understanding a threat for yourself and the threat for your barrels. Cannon barrage coming out from Gangplank now. MMD about to go into a 4v1, but he waits for the team smartly here as the lanes continue to push up for them.
Yeah, good flash from Aphromoo there. Realizes if he drops off Darshan right there, he's probably dead, so he flashes out Stixxay.
They're going for the fight, and after the dragon, that's going to be taken by Xmithie. They get dragon number 5. The resulting fight could be huge for Counterlogic Gaming. Does HuHi have the finish on this? There's the hook onto MMD, but it's in parallel convergence. Not really something they can follow, and Flash Wolves now has to rethink the situation completely.
Yeah, but Aphromoo still in control of his actions here, not needlessly following up on those hooks, going in, saying, guys, come with me. Really good control of himself. Many Thresh players.
I hit it.
You gotta take it. Gotta go. Gotta fly.
Oh, but Xmithie says we gotta go. And that's Karsa going down. NL follows. Now all for Xmithie. Is it worth or is it going to hurt? Aphromoo falls to the ground. Stixxay and HuHi, he's still alive. The Q just misses and the Time Winder gives him the space he needs to get out alive. Counterlogic Gaming almost doing the same thing Flash Wolves was here. They continue to put the pressure on. It's non-stop toe-to-toe, and they want now. They want to go for Baron. Dragon number 5 allowing the burn to happen, that bit of extra damage, and HuHi in a 2v1 claws forward, the W to lock down Maple, and it's almost an extended ace.
Yeah, burn baby, burn, says HuHi.
Wow.
5 dragon buffs, and suddenly CLG find their vigor, their momentum, and they turn around this game completely. Flash Wolves were not ready for that steal. Xmithie with the hero play.
I like that. Vim, vigor, and vitality. They'll have it. What will they do with it? And Xmithie coming up absolutely huge, because that would have just put a timer on them that would allowed Flash Wolves to probably walk in the base.
Yeah, 4 dragons don't really do much for you.
Nope.
This day and age. Need that 5th one. CLG got it, and you could see it immediately. Like 5 consecutive switches got flipped in their heads. It's like, okay, 5 dragons. Yep, that's us going in.
See, this happened here again. So Xmithie, this is kind of when we see CLG. All right, CLG, you went a little too hard again.
That's fine. It's fine. You can die like that. You can die without using your ulti. You just sold 5th dragon. You're excused, Xmithie. We forgive you. Stixxay deals very well with MMD in the backline, but HuHi honestly plays this fight fantastically well.
Yeah.
Aphromoo did the right thing this time, going for the hook. Just zoning, left MMD solo with Stixxay in the backline, but he's dealing so much damage right now.
All of these games, Crepo, absolutely amazing here. Number 1s from the Big 5, all 5 major regions right now, LMS and NA going head to head, and these games couldn't get any better. One of the best tournaments already. What will happen from here? Counterlogic Gaming has so much work to do just to put themselves back on the docket here in this one. Not even the inhibitor down means the push down the mid lane can still happen for Flash Wolves again.
Ooh, MMD's in the back though. He's caught out.
Break in. Oh, he gets hit. That's going to be the Guardian Angel now coming back up. Counterlogic Gaming gets time to assess the fight, and baby, it's cupcakes for MMD. And once again, they go for the inhibitor this time. 14-12, 45 minutes in. We could be going on the 50-minute mark this time, but CLG's looking for Nexus turrets.
Yeah, Nexus Towers, 1,000 gold difference here. Another super close game here. Darshan knocks him away.
Not going to go too far, and they have home guards. Well, I guess without combat, so he's got a bit before he can come back.
This is the 3rd game today where we're over 40 minutes, where the gold difference goes down to like, what, 1,000, 2,000 gold here. Super close match here, but CLG finally back in control. Can they take it home?
This is the point where it could be too much. Such low health. That's 4v, 25 seconds, and it could be a rush completely down the other side of the map.
Yeah, that's a push water here. Fantastic barrel combination. Massive damage there from Maple here. Turns that around just single-handedly and just shows you the power of Link in Gangplank.
This is the point I love, Crepo, when all your extra money's going into Elixir's Wrath. We have the sorceries on HuHi trying to get the extra CD and all that ability power out.
And then you're a poor support and you're like, you know what? I'll start my 4th item.
You're just building for everybody else. That's all. That's what we do. Support life. What a game so far. And held off their Nexus turrets. Flash Wolves keep that alive, but now they have to recognize the super minions coming down mid lane. What's the option for CLG now? With Dragon coming up in 1:40, with that down or up, where do they go?
I mean, they have the pressure advantage when it comes to the decision making. They don't need that Dragon. Flash Wolves at all costs need to deny it, so CLG could technically use the Dragon as a bait. We have seen situations in the past where teams are so frantically defending Dragon that they leave their base exposed. That's happened.
Yeah, very true.
We've also seen teams tunnel on the Dragon trying to smite it and then just lose the following team fight. So CLG have access to that, but they need to target down Maple. Maple is not supposed to do damage here. Karsa.
Oh, wow. Karsa coming in, or rather HuHi coming in
nowhere
onto Karsa with that TP play. right on the Raptor pit. Have a nice day.
Surprises us both here. Darshan, double combo here. Hook comes out. Maple gets hooked.
A little dangerous for Darshan, but he feels like the team is actually going to be able to come up big on this one. Stixxay and HuHi trying to make Maple think differently here. He has to use his ult over on that fight. Lamb's spike goes down. MMD is going to be able to take a few in.
Oh, Stixxay's carrying his fight.
NL flashes, or rather, Relentless Pursuits right in to the face of Xmithie and goes down. Erroneous choices made by Flash Wolves, and that could be game.
Yeah, barring any major pileup here from CLG, if they spread out, there's no way Maple can get like 4 barrels out at once. Stixxay dealt so much damage in that fight. Tower 1 gonna go down here. The Falcon X, oh, beautiful combo!
Oh my gosh, Maple. They see a Gangplank walking up to them, yet they cannot stop what they know he can do. That's ridiculous.
It's so good on Gangplank. He just surprised the opposition here. One more combo.
Oh, don't do it. He's not focusing though. Okay.
Oh, he gets it. That's the next
double.
tower.
That's a headshot. That could be game. Stixxay and Aphromoo standing toe-to-toe with Maple. And now it's Karsa. Karsa comes out. It's only a few shots from this many items on a Caitlyn. And that's going to look to be the necklace. The necklace. The necklace.
The nexus.
And the necklace. Counter Logic Gaming comes up huge in their